There comes a moment in every soul's journey when it realizes it gave too much, too soon, to someone who never asked it to love itself back. You didn't just love them, you forgot yourself in the process. But this isn't a story about them. It's a story about the sacred betrayal. The one you committed against your own soul just to feel worthy of love. You gave them your time, your energy, your care, even the thoughts you whispered to no one else. You were willing to become smaller just to fit inside their idea of who you should be. And that's where the pain began, not in their leaving, but in the moment you left yourself. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." You called it love. But it was a pattern, a reflection of your earliest wound, where your worth was tied to how much you could give. And the more you gave, the more invisible you became. You learned that love meant sacrifice, but love, real love, never requires you to disappear. When you loved them more than yourself, you fed the shadow, you gave it power, because every time you said yes when you wanted to say no, you strengthened the lie that you don't matter unless you're needed. You've tasted the silence after they left. You've sat in the darkness they walked away from, and somehow you're still here. So what do you do with this pain? You don't run, you don't numb, you don't numb, you listen. Because heartbreak, when listened to deeply, becomes holy. Carl Jung taught that loneliness does not come from being alone, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to you. You tried to communicate them. Maybe they didn't hear, or maybe you stopped speaking. And now your silence is learning to speak again. You start reclaiming the parts of you that got buried under "I'm fine", under "I'll handle it", under "as long as they're happy". This is individuation, the Jungian path of becoming whole, of integrating the parts of you that were once lost to longing. Some days you will still ache. Still wonder if they ever really knew you. Still miss the dream of what could have been. But you won't betray yourself to go back. Not this time. Because once you've tasted real connection with your soul, you can no longer survive on illusions. You may ask, was it all a mistake? No. It was a mirror. They didn't complete you. They reflected the parts of you that needed your attention the most. Through that heartbreak, you found your wholeness. Carl Jung said, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. You were searching for them, but what you needed was your own heart's return. That's what this journey is. Not forgetting them, not resenting them, but thanking the pain for waking you up. You loved them more than yourself, and that nearly destroyed you. But it also became the turning point. The beginning of your real life. The life where you no longer apologize for existing. Where your love no longer comes with self-abandonment. So when you ask, how do I love again? Start here, by loving yourself enough to never shrink for anyone again. Let the pain shape you. Let the loneliness rebuild you. Let the silence become sacred, because the love you were always looking for was your own.